Hey, this is Overpass Insights. My name is Eric and I make apps. Now today, I work in IT, but I'm a software developer. Okay, so I've been a software developer for a long time, nearly 25 years. I know some of you guys have been developing longer than I have, or not quite as long, but I can't believe so much time has passed. It seems like I'm always still learning things. Like, that's the thing about development. Technology is always moving, and there's new technologies coming out, and you have to learn what's new, and especially become relevant and marketable. Always be marketable, so that if you do need a position or you do need a job, or even working on your own applications, that you're keeping up with the latest technology. I really obviously I love being a software developer because I talk about it all the time. Now, one of the things I noticed over the years though, and for you, those of you guys who are developers, let me know if you get this too, where when somebody who is not technical asks me what I do, I have to think about how I'm going to answer that question. So here's an example. So I mean, I used to get this a lot, but I still get it from time to time. Somebody says, so Eric, what do you do? And I'm like, well, I'm a mobile, whatever. I'm a Xamarin developer. I do cross-platform development in either Xamarin or Flutter. But I'm basically working with both of those. I do a lot of server stuff too. And they'll go, I don't know what any of that meant. I go, okay, I do mobile application development. What does that mean? Those apps on your phone? You mean you work on Facebook? It's okay, never mind. In the end, you're just like, I work with computers. Like, I remember like 10 years ago when I was doing web development, 20 years ago, 15 years ago, something like that. Somebody said, like, what do you do? I'm a web developer. What does that mean? You work with computers? Yeah, I work with computers. So like a lot of times that's what people know me at. I'm the guy locally that works with computers. Now the downside of that is I would have like neighbors or just people I don't even know that well, but they're like, that guy Eric who lives over there, he's a computer guy. So like I remember once trying to get in my car and a neighbor was saying like, yeah, Eric, you're a computer guy, right? I'm like, well, sure, yeah, I work with computers. And they'll go, we got this new camera and we can't seem to get the red eye out of people's pictures. How do you get rid of the red eye? And I'm like, I don't know. Like I was like that. You could use Photoshop. I'm trying to like throw out stuff, and everything I said was like, how's that work? What does that do? I'm like, or like just recently somebody said, how do I send a video via email? And I'm like, well, the video file is too big, so you can't send it via email. You could like upload it to Google Drive and include a link, and I'm like, and how do you do that? And how do you do that? So, or Eric, when you have a look at this, we got this new printer and we just can't seem to get it to work. Can you have a look at it? You're the computer guy. And you're like, well, yes, I'm in IT. Yes, that's true. I do work with computers, but I'm a developer. So I don't actually work on the hardware side of things. I create software or I work with code. And they'll go, so you're not the computer guy? And I'll go, all right, let's have a look at this printer. And that's like a lot of the times I'm like just on the fly, totally not trained. I'm just like, reading manuals from neighbors and friends, or even I was working in an investment bank. I had the same thing. People call me from other departments, said, mapping printers for them. And it's like, even though there was a whole dedicated team to do that, but that's just it. Like a lot of times they don't see the distinction between them. So for those of you guys who are thinking about going into IT, or like for you guys younger, and a lot of the software developers who watch this channel will tell you this. There's two different, like there's lots of different parts of the industry you can go into. A lot of them have to do with infrastructure and support and making sure that everything runs correctly. So they might be in charge of security, or making sure the servers are up and running, or the Azure stacks these days, or AWS, making sure that everything is running the way that it should. And they're kind of like, they have that certain skill set. And then on the other side, you've got the developers who work with code and create new applications, or even make modifications to existing applications and all that kind of stuff. And in my humble opinion, I so much more prefer to be a software developer. I love working with code, being able to come up with creative solutions to solve things, is way more fun than doing the infrastructure side of things. The downside of that, especially when we talk about recessions and when people have to cut costs, a lot of times they'll be like, we don't need any new development, or and we don't need this whole team to work on this existing application that was developed a couple of years ago. So they start to cut developers, but those infrastructure guys, you can't really get rid of them because security is always going to be a concern. You have to make sure the servers are up and running and all that kind of stuff. So, it's something to think about for the guys going into software development. I love being a software developer. I love the creative solutions. I love doing all that kind of stuff. And you know what? I could map a printer, probably. How tough could it be? Anyway, for those of you guys who are software developers out there who have had that kind of issue, this same kind of issue with people just, asking you anything that has anything to do with computers, let me know in the comments. I'd be really interested to hearing that. I hope you guys are staying healthy, staying safe. That is it for today. I'll talk to you guys again next time.